Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge.
So we all got knowledge. Read.
Knowledge puff up.
Knowledge do what?
Knowledge puff up.
Knowledge puffs up. So that's why you will hear somebody bragging and saying, you know, I went to school, I got a PhD, I got this degree, and all these type of worldly things, and they brag about it and think that they are better than you because of their quote-unquote accomplishments. This is why he's saying knowledge puffs up. Is that it on that?
It said, now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puff up, but charity edifies.
But charity edifies. Meaning being loving, giving, caring. Let's get 1 Corinthians 3 and 18. So for all the people who like to brag on their accomplishments, I went to school, boo-boo, I got this type of degree, boo-boo, honey, and all that stuff. This is for you. 1 Corinthians 3 and 18.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 18. Let no man deceive himself. If any among you seem to be wise in this world, let him become a fool.
It says wise in this world. Let him become what?
Let him become a fool.
Let him become a fool. Because we know when we walk after Hamashiach, the world think you crazy. Them cats don't do, what? You depriving your kids of Christmas? You ain't gonna let them do this? They think you are a fool. Read on.
That he may be wise. For the wisdom of this world.
For the what?
For the wisdom of this world.
For the wisdom of this world. Read.
Is foolishness with Yah.
Is what?
Is foolishness.
So you mean to tell me them people PhD and they doctor's degree and the masters and all that, bachelors, is foolishness with Yah?
Don't mean nothing.
Don't mean nothing. None of your degrees can get you in.
Right.
Not one of them. Because knowledge puffers up. Let's get Isaiah 5 and 21.
Finish that out?
Yeah, go ahead, finish that out.
Verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yah. For it is written, he take the wise in their own craftiness.
He do what?
He take the wise in their own craftiness.
He take the wise in their own craftiness. That's why you got these dudes who think they so smart. They think they can get past Yah. They think we can set up some stuff into space. You know what I'm saying? Their wisdom got them stupid.
So smart you
You're so smart, you stupid. Just like the guy that made the atomic bomb, right? You made a bomb that can kill your own self and your own family and your own people. Because you say we could destroy the world 8 times over. So how smart are you to make something that can kill you? That's stupid. All right? Let's get Isaiah 5 and 21.
Yeshayahu chapter 5 and verse 21. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes.
In the eyes of the Most High.
In their own eyes.
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes. You can't tell dude nothing. He think he know everything.
All right.
Read.
Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight.
Prudent in their own sight. This means your wisdom don't come from the Most High. This is your own worldly wisdom that you took on. Give me Isaiah 10. So we're going to get some stories and show how this stuff works. Isaiah 10 and 13.
Yeshayahu chapter 10 and verse 13. For he said, by the strength of my hand I have done it.
Yah have done it.
I have done it.
I have done it. Read.
And by my wisdom.
And by my what?
And by my wisdom.
And by my wisdom. Read.
For I am prudent.
I am what?
I am prudent.
I am prudent. Read.
And I have removed the bounds of the people and have robbed their treasures.
See, this person is proud right here. He's saying, by my might and by my wisdom have I done these things, and I'm prudent. Then he go on to say, I robbed these people. Read.
And I have put down the inhabitants like a valiant man.
So this guy, because of his wisdom, because of his might, his prudence, he say, I've robbed these people. It's not a good look for him. Let's get Jeremiah 9 and 23. So if you get a little bit of wisdom and you get a little bit of money and a little bit of power, this is what you should do right here. My brother showed me this scripture about 4 years ago. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith Yah, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom.
Don't let the wise man glory in his wisdom. Read.
Neither let the mighty man glory in his might.
So don't let the strong man glory in his might. All of these things, when you got a lot of wisdom, it brings on pride. When you got a lot of strength, it brings on pride, because people is looking, man, dude can bench 600 pounds. Wow, Einstein figured out how to calculate how the stars move. You know what I'm saying? He think he's got so much wisdom that he's smarter than the Most High. Read.
Let not the rich man glory in his riches.
And don't let the rich man glory in his riches. When you get too much money, you start to be like what Kanye West is. He think he a what?
Think he a god.
He think he's a god. Read.
But let him that glorify, glory in this, that he understand and know me.
So read that again.
But let him that glorieth, glory in this, that he understand and know me.
But let him that glory in this, that he understands and knows Yah. That's what you should be glorying right there. That you got understanding and you know the Most High. That's all the glory right there that you need. And if you put him up, he gonna automatically give it to you. Exactly. You don't have to go out your way to get it, because he'll bring it to you regardless. Read that verse again.
But let him that glory in this, that he understand and know me, that I am Yah, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yahuwah.
Notice, he said all these things that he delight in. Pride and proud is in this book a whole bunch of times. And not one that I can recall, it spoke of it in a good light. And when we was in the world, there were certain things that we said, and I'm proud of this. I can't go back over there, man. They hurt my pride. My pride on the line. I can't do it. And we taught to have pride. And that's backwards. That's backwards. Let's go back to that 1 John 2 and 15. Yeah, John.
1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
For the love of the Father is not in you. Go ahead.
For all that is in the world, The lust of the flesh.
The lust of what?
The lust of the flesh.
Keep it in mind. He said the lust of the flesh. Read.
The lust of the eyes.
The lust of the eyes. And go ahead.
And the pride of life.
And the pride of life.
It is not of the Father, but is of the world.
So can anybody tell me what this would take us back to? He said the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Go ahead, say it again. That's one. Anybody else? Absolutely. All the way back to the garden. Genesis 3. Genesis 3 and chapter 1. You notice almost every single time. Oh, Genesis 3 and verse 1. Notice almost everything that we go through and showing where something originated at, it always come back to Genesis 3.
Absolutely.
Almost everything. We read this stuff a lot because everything seems to come back to this. Read.
Bereshit chapter 3 and verse 1. And the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which Elohim had made.
He was a slick dude. Read.
And he said to the woman, is it true that Elohim has said, do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die.
Now, what did Eve just do? What did Eve just do? She repeated it, but she just added to the word. Because he didn't say nothing about, neither shall you touch it. She added that. He didn't say that. We're not supposed to add or take away from the word. All right, read on.
Verse 4. And the serpent said to the woman, you shall certainly not die. For Elohim knows that in the day that you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil.
So they're going to be like gods, so to speak, to know good and evil. That's what this stuff go back to. So it's something that he just tempted them with. Let's see what it is. Read.
Verse 6. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food.
When she saw the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes. Read.
It was pleasant to the eyes.
It was what?
Pleasant to the eyes.
The lust of the eyes. Read.
And a tree desirable to make one wise.
To make one what?
To make one wise.
See that? So Eve was thinking she was about to get some secret knowledge. Something on that nobody else would know. So he tempted her with wisdom because she was at the tree of what? Knowledge of good and evil. So she was seeking a secret wisdom. Just like these people in what they call a secret society, right? They feel like they got a knowledge and an understanding that nobody outside of that has. That's why it's a secret society. They got this hidden knowledge that nobody else knows about. And we shake hands in secret ways, and we communicate and cover up one eye, and we only know what this means. And if the police stop me, I hold my hands a certain kind of way. Oh, he knows I'm in the brotherhood. All this is that secret wisdom because she took it because she saw that it would make her wise. She had the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Knowledge does what again? puffeth up. Read that from the top again, verse 6.
Verse 6. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree desirable to make one wise.
The tree desirable to make one wise. So she was seeking this wisdom, and we know that all of these smart people, and that's why he said the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yah. Let's get Matthew 11 and 25. And you're going to see all of these things coincide with each other. They go hand in hand. Usually when you're doing one of the sins, all the rest of them are involved in it as well. Matthew 11 and 25.
Mattityahu, chapter 11 and verse 25. At that time, Yahusha answered and said, I thank you, O Father, Master of Shamayim and earth, because you have hid these things.
You did what?
You have hid these things.
You have hid these things. From who?
From the wise and prudent.
He have hid them from the wise and prudent. So even though you think you got all this secret knowledge and all this great understanding, he didn't hid these things from you. And you ain't gonna know. That's why he's gonna send you strong delusions that you should believe a lie. Read that again.
Mattityahu 11 and 25. And at that time, Yahusha answered and said, I thank you, O Father, Master of Shamayim and earth, because you have hid these things from the wise and prudent, and have revealed them unto babes.
Revealed it unto who?
Unto babes.
Unto babes. Wow, not the people that's been doing it for 30 and 40 years.
Unto babes.
Unto babes. So all these things are hidden from the wise and the prudent. The people that think they got a secret knowledge that nobody else got. Go back to mommy. So let's go into power. Let's see how power brings on pride. Let's get Daniel chapter 4. And you'll see through these instances that anybody can fall to these things real quick. When people start bigging you up and telling you how great you are, it can take you over real quick. That's why all I gotta do, if I ever think I'm something, all I gotta do is turn on YouTube and go to some videos and look at the comments. And it'll, wow, you TCS niggas is the worst and the most stupid group. Death to you. Bring you right back down to earth. Even if you have ever thought about it. Just go to the comments and look. Bring you right back down to earth. Daniel chapter 4 verse 1.
Daniel chapter 4 verse 1. Nebuchadnezzar, the king unto all people.
Unto who?
Unto all people.
Now when y'all reading this, we ain't gonna go into it, but you can tell this is talking past Nebuchadnezzar. Talking about somebody else at the same time. Read.
Nebuchadnezzar, the king unto all people, nations, languages that dwell in all the earth. Peace be multiplied unto you.
Peace be multiplied unto you. Read.
I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high Elohim hath wrought towards me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation.
Wow, Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom is from generation to generation? That's really talking about somebody else. That's another story. Read.
I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in mine house, and flourishing in my palace.
And doing what?
And flourishing in my
He
palace.
said he was flourishing in his house. No, in his palace. There's a difference between a house and a palace. Big difference. We live in houses. Palace is something else. Read.
I saw a dream which made me afraid.
So whatever this dream is that Nebuchadnezzar seeing, it's got him afraid. He's scared. Read.
And the thought upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me.
It troubled him. So whatever this is that Nebuchadnezzar is seeing, it's got him terrified. He's troubled. Let's jump down to verse 19.
Verse 19. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble you. Belshazzar answered and said, My master, the dream be to them that hate you.
To what?
The dream be to them that hate you.
Go ahead.
And the interpretation thereof to your enemies. The tree that you saw, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto Shamaim, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, upon whose branches the fowls of Shamaim had their habitation. It is you, O king, that are grown and become strong.
It is you, O king, that has grown and become strong. Remember, by my might. Read.
Whose height reached into Shamaim, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under the which of the beasts of the field dwelt, upon whose branches the fowls of Shamaim had their habitation. It is you, O king, that are grown and become strong, for your greatness is grown, and reach unto Shamaim, your dominion to the end of the earth.
Wow. Dominion to the end of the earth. Go ahead.
And whereas the king saw a watcher and a Kodesh one coming down from Shamaim, and saying, Hew you the tree down.
And what to it?
Hew the tree down.
Cut that tree down. Read.
And destroy it. Yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field. And let it be wet with the dew of Shamaim, and let his portion be with the beast of the field, till 7 times pass over.
Till 7 times pass over. 7 years. Read.
This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my master the king, that they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beast of the field, and they shall make you to eat grass and oxen as oxen, and they shall wet you with the dew of Shamaim, and 7 times shall pass over you, till you know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomever he will.
Go ahead.
And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, your kingdom shall be sure unto you. After that you shall have known that the Shamaim do rule. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto you.
So Daniel is counseling Nebuchadnezzar because of this dream. Read.
And break off your sins by righteousness.
Do what?
Break off your sins by righteousness.
So he's telling Nebuchadnezzar, break your sins by righteousness. Stop sinning. Stop doing the evil that you're doing by righteousness. Read.
And your iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of your tranquility.
Go ahead.
All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. And the end of 12 months, he walked in the palace of the
12 months then elapsed. Nebuchadnezzar is doing this stuff for a minute. He being nice and he taking care of giving out turkeys and stuff, and you know on Thanksgiving they doing all the stuff for 12 months straight. He all right. Read.
The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon?
Is this what?
Is not this great Babylon?
Is this not great Babylon? So I can picture him. standing on top of something tall and looking down at his kingdom. Wow, the chosen seed. Have I started all of this. Wow. Right? So he's standing on this thing, he's looking off, and the splendor, look at what I've started. Read that verse again.
The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom by the might of my power?
By the might of my power? Wow. Now remember, the Most High gave him his power. It wasn't from him. The Most High gave him the power to do this. Read.
And for the honor of my majesty?
And for the honor of my majesty? Read.
While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from Shamaim, saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from you.
Wow. He got so proud and so lifted up in his heart that he thought he'd done this by himself. Look at what my hands have built. This is my kingdom. And right then as he's speaking, the kingdom is departed from him. Before he can finish it, already, Daniel already told you, cut it out, be nice to the people, do this, gave you counsel directly from the Most High. He did it for a minute, and he fell right back into his old ways. Look at what my hands have done. My kingdom. Read.
And they shall drive you from men, and your dwelling shall be with the beast of the field. They shall make you to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over you until you know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men and give it to whomever he will. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of Shamaim, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws.
Wow, this great king that's just bragging about his kingdom, the Most High, just like that with a thought, he reduced to nothing. He like worse than an animal. He outside eating grass like an ox. Bananas. Read on.
And at the end of the days, I, Nebuchadnezzar, lift up my eyes unto Shamaim, and my understanding returned unto me.
So at the end of 7 years, Nebuchadnezzar gets his understanding back. Let's see what happened with him. Read.
And I blessed the Most High.
He did what?
And I blessed the Most High.
Wow, he had to be humbled to realize I'm just a mere man. He can take this away from me at any moment. Read.
And I praised and honored him that lived forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation. And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing.
They're what?
Reputed as nothing.
Nebuchadnezzar seen right then and there, I'm reputed as nothing. Read.
And he do according to his will with the army of Shamaim and among the inhabitants of the earth. And none can stay his hand or say unto him, what do you? At the same time, my reason returned unto me, for the esteem of my kingdom, my honor, my brightness returned unto me. And my counselor, as my masters sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom. And excellent majesty was added unto me.
Excellent majesty, because now he recognized where the power actually is coming from. Read.
Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the king of Shamaim.
Wow. Nebuchadnezzar, all we ever read about him, really, everybody think he was pure wickedness all through. But look what Nebuchadnezzar actually doing at the end. Read.
All whose works are truth, and his ways judgment, And those that walk in pride.
That walk in what?
Those that walk in pride.
Those that walk in pride. Read.
He is able to abase.
He is able to abase, to bring you from the highest. When you think you're the greatest, he'll bring you down in an instant. Gave Nebuchadnezzar a second chance. And this is the last thing that you can read about Nebuchadnezzar according to the scripture. So remember, he says that a man can be wicked in Ezekiel 18, I believe. And he turned from his wicked ways. This is an example of that. So I'm not saying never go be in the kingdom, but he very well might be in the kingdom, because he repented of all his wickedness that he was doing.
You can't say that.
That's why I'm not saying it, but I'm just,
The boys are trying to crucify you.
Exactly. But they can read it for themselves. He repented of all that stuff that he was doing. He recognized, I got this power from the Most High.
Absolutely.
He said he reputed me as nothing. The whole earth as nothing. So, let's continue. Get me James 4 and 6. James 4 and 6.
The epistle of James, chapter 4, and verse 6. But he gave more grace. Wherefore he said, Yah resist the proud.
He do what?
Yah resist the proud.
He resisteth the proud. Go ahead.
But give grace unto the humble.
But do what?
Give grace unto the humble.
But he give grace unto the humble. And this is where we all gotta be humble. Keep a humble spirit no matter what. And it's hard sometimes dealing with certain people, but you must do it. All right, let's get Luke chapter 16, verse 15.
Dr. Luke. Sit.
Luke 16.
Lucas. Chapter 16.
Hold on, let me get that. Go ahead. 15.
Lucas chapter 16 and verse 15. And he said unto them, You are they which justify yourselves before men, but Elohim know your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed amongst men.
For that is what?
That which is highly esteemed amongst men.
For that which is highly esteemed among men. That's all your athletes, all your favorite rappers, all the people on TV, some of your elders. Highly esteemed among men. Read.
Is abomination in the sight of Yah.
It's an abomination in the sight of the Most High. So you got to look at all the people that they esteem and hold in high esteem and high regard. Most of these people, the Most High despise these people. That's heavy.
True.
So let's go to pride of position. Let's go to Hadassah, chapter 3. Hadassah, chapter 3, and verse 1.
Ain't nobody gonna ask.
Hadassah, chapter 3, verse 1. Esther, chapter 3, verse 1.
What Jerome said, it ain't in this book.
I was just waiting, like they gonna just keep turning, huh?
Right.
Ain't gonna even ask. Pride won't let you ask. I know it's in here. Okay, I done went all the way to the beginning. I don't see it, but I know it's it. I'm not. My pride won't let me ask.
Right. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Oh man.
Who got? Yeah, get got. Yeah, get got. He said, I knew it wasn't it. No doubt.
So let's get Esther 3:1. Her name is actually Hadassah. Go ahead.
Hadassah, or Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus, or how you say it? Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha.
That's good.
Yeah. The Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
So this guy, Haman, has just got a promotion, right? Think of somebody on your job that get a promotion, or he used to be just as cool with you and everything, and all of a sudden they make him a team leader or supervisor or something. And all of a sudden, the ark ain't the same no more. Wow, bro, you used to be up here saying the same thing as us. Man, think he more than somebody, man, because he got that little job. As soon as you get it, you act the same way. So this guy Haman just got a promotion. Let's see how it unfolds. Read verse 2.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed.
They did what?
Bowed.
They bowed. Man, you see, when the big boss come in, everybody get to running, bowing to him. Read.
And reverence to mine.
Did what?
And reverence to mine.
What does reverence mean? Fear this guy. Supposed to only fear the Most High. Read.
For the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence.
So Mordecai is the only one that didn't bow to him and didn't reverence him. Is not afraid of him. Let's see what this guy heart tells him to do. Read.
Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgress you the king's commandment?
Why are you breaking the king's commandments? Bow down to him like everybody else doing. Read.
Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew.
He was what?
He was a Jew.
And that dude, an Israelite.
He was Yehuda. Yehudi. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Wow. He done promoted me, and dude ain't afraid of me. He won't bow to me. Everybody else do it except for that one little. He won't do it.
Right.
Haman know about Exodus chapter 20. That you don't supposed to bow down to nobody. That one little, he won't do it. And he infused with rage because he won't do it. Read.
And he bought scorn to lay hands. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone.
Wait a minute. He wanna whoop this guy. I'm finna box this guy in his face. He won't bow down to me. Who do you think he is? The king just gave me a promotion. You better bow to me. Read.
For they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Yahudim that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
So all this is coming about. He want to kill all the Israelites. Why? Because one man won't bow to him.
thousands of people that is.
Exactly. But one man won't bow to him, and he's so mad, he ready to kill everybody that look like him. Verse 7.
Verse 7. And
No,
the
jump to verse. Matter of fact, let's get Esther 5.
Okay.
Because this is a continuous story. Esther 5, and we're going to pick it up at verse 8.
Esther chapter 5 and verse 8. If I have found favor in the sight of the king, if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king hath said.
So this is Esther getting a favor because she got favor with the king. Read.
Then went Haman forth that day, joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up.
So he did what?
That he stood not up.
Again, everybody else got up, but Mordecai don't get up. What happened? Read.
Nor moved for him. He was full of indignation against Mordecai.
This little right here won't get up for me. He won't bow to me. I gotta put a stop to this. This can't fly. He can't keep disrespecting me. Read.
Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself.
He kept his composure. I'm gonna find the right time to do it, but I'm gonna get him. Yeah, exactly. He was patiently waiting for his opportunity. Read.
And when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh his wife. And Haman told them of the esteem of his riches.
He did what?
Told him of the esteem of his riches.
Look at my riches. You see that? I got a palace. It's almost just as big as the king's. Read.
And the multitude of his children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants of the king.
So you know dude ego is out of control. His ego is on 100. Read.
Haman said, moreover, Esther the queen did not let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared by himself. And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king. Yet all this availed me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Yehudi sitting at the king's gate.
So all the stuff that he just bragged about, it's not good enough for him. Because this one man won't bow to him. Go ahead.
Then said Zeresh his wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high.
Let a gallows be made 75 feet tall. Read.
And tomorrow speak you to the king, that Mordecai may be hanged thereon.
So he built some special gallows just to hang Mordecai, just because he won't bow to him. Let's continue. Esther 6 and 1.
Esther 6 and 1. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the chronicles, and they were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthana and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on King Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this?
Now Haman don't know that Mordecai had stopped the plot to kill the king. Mordecai told him what was about to happen and saved the king's life. But Haman is not aware of this. So you have to go back earlier in the story. I think it's in chapter 2 and see this. Read.
Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. And the king said, Who is in the court? Now Haman was coming to the outward court of the king's house, to speak unto the king, to hang Mordecai on the gallows that had prepared for him.
Go ahead.
And the king's servant said unto him, Behold, Haman stand in the court, and said, Let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, What shall be done unto the man whom the king delight to honor?
What shall be done unto the man whom the king delights to honor? The Most High delights to honor Mashiach. That's a different story. But it's all right here. Read.
Now Haman thought in his heart.
So he thinking in his heart, it's gotta be me. He already done promoted me.
Right.
He already done made everybody else bow to me. Read.
To whom would the king delight to do honor more than myself?
More than me.
Pride.
I'm already about to get his spot anyway. Soon as he croak over and die, I'm gonna be the king. This guy already plotting it, you can tell. Read.
And Haman answered the king for the man whom the king delight to honor.
This is what you should do to him, because he think it's himself. Read.
Let the royal apparel be brought which the king used to wear,
Bring out your most fanciest garments for him. Read.
and the horse that the king ride on.
And the what?
And the horse that the king ride on.
Wait a minute, this was a man in the New Testament that was riding in on something, and the people were saying, Hosanna, Hosanna. Read.
And the crown royal which is set upon his head. And let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delight to honor, and bring him on horseback through the street of the city.
Through the streets of the city. Wow, somebody else did that. Go ahead.
And proclaim before him, Thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delight to honor.
So he think that this is him. Read.
Then the king said to Haman, Make haste, take the apparel and the horse, and you, as you have said, and and do even so to Mordecai.
To who?
To Mordecai.
So imagine what Haman is feeling. All the things that he think was talking about him, about to go to the guy that won't bow to him, that he want to kill. You just told him to give him all these things that he desiring to get, because his heart is completely lifted up from his position. Read.
That sit at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that you have spoken.
Let nothing fail of all that you have spoken. Read.
Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai.
Now imagine how he feel. The guy that won't bow to you, that won't reverence you, you taking all the stuff that you thought was for you and putting it on him. Imagine how he feel. Read.
And brought him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaimed before him, Thus shall it be done unto the man who the king does delight to honor. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate. But Haman hasted to the house, to his house, mourning, and having his head covered.
Wow, he's shamed. Ran home with his head covered, crying. Go ahead.
And Haman told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, If Mordecai be the seed of the Yahudim, before whom you have begun to fall, you shall not prevail against him, but shall surely fall before him. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlain, and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Go right to 7 and verse 9.
Verse 9. Chapter 7, verse 9. And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, Behold also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had for Mordecai.
So Haman made these 75-foot gallows to hang Mordecai on, right? Read.
Who had spoken good for the king, stand in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon.
Do what?
Hang him thereon.
It's talking about hanging Haman on the gallows that he set up to kill him with. Turned his recompense on his own head. Finish it out.
So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Wow, all of this because this guy was lifted up and arrogant in his heart for his position. Because one man wouldn't bow to him, he had got his own self killed. The Most High know how to humble you and bring you down. Proverbs 11:2.
In the worst way.
So it said that he went home crying with his head covered. He was ashamed. Proverbs 11:2.
Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 2. When pride come, then comes shame.
Then come what?
Then comes shame.
When pride come, then comes shame. Dude was so ashamed that he went home with his head covered, mourning, telling his wife, baby, you see what they did to me? He done frustrated. He didn't look. He knows that stuff's supposed to be mine. He done promoted me. He's sick about it. And I had to go and put the stuff on him. What can, man? I'm gonna knock the king off. Pride. Pride. All these things, pride. Isaiah 5:15. Yep, Isaiah 5:15.
Yeshayahu chapter 5 and verse 15. And the mean man shall be brought down.
He shall be brought down. Read.
And the mighty man shall be humbled.
And the mighty man shall be humbled. Every knee shall bow. Read.
And the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled.
And the eyes of the lofty, the high-minded, shall be humbled. So dude got a super case of it. Let's go to John 11. John chapter 11.
Yehukanan. Yehukanan chapter 11
verse 41.
and verse 41. Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. And I knew that you hear me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, and they may believe that you have sent me.
Now remember, we're talking about position, right? Because Haman was all of this stuff because he got a new position. Read.
And I knew that, hold on, verse 43, I'm sorry. And when he thus has spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound about with a napkin. Yahushua said unto them, Loose him and let him go.
Loose him and let him go. Read.
Then many of the Yahudim which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahushua did believed on him.
So they saw this and believed. Wow, he just woke up the dead. He just brought a dead man out. So they know it's the truth. Read.
But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahushua had done.
Read.
Then gathered the chief priests.
Who is it?
The chief priests.
The chief priests, and who else?
And the Pharisees, a council.
So they got a secret meeting going on. Read.
And said, What do we? For this man do many miracles. If we let him alone, all men will believe on him. and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
So they worried about losing their position.
Not the people.
Exactly. They don't even care about the people. They worried about losing their position, even though they believed on what he just did and they knew what he did was right. They knew it. Exactly. 501c3. They knew it, but they was worried about losing their position. Read that last verse again.
If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
Go ahead.
And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the highest priest, that same year said unto them, you know nothing at all.
Y'all is a bunch of dummies. Y'all don't know nothing. Read.
Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
Wow. One man died for the nation, and that the whole nation perish not. But all the stuff, they killed him because they was proud of their positions, and they didn't want to lose it. Because they knew if it kept getting out, dang, man, the people going to start following him, and we going to lose him. Let's continue with this pride. 2 Chronicles 26. 2 Chronicles 26. Chapter 26. 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 1. So we'll notice a lot of this stuff got to do with kings. 2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 1.
2 Chronicles chapter 26 and verse 1. Then all the people of Yehudah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old.
He was what?
He was 16 years old.
16 years old, and he's about to be anointed the king over Israel. How you think a 16-year-old feel with that type of power?
Like he on top of the world.
16 and he the king. Bananas. Read.
Who was 16 years old, and made him king in the room of his father Amaziah. He built Eloth and restored it to Judah. After that the king slept with his fathers. 16 years old was Uzziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years.
Wow. Second longest reigning king of Israel. 52 years. Read.
In Jerusalem. His mother name also was Jechaliah of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yah, according to all that his father Amaziah did.
So you see right here, he's doing right. He's doing good in the sight of the Most High. The Most High working with him. Read.
And he sought Elohim in the days of Zechariah, who had understanding in the visions of Elohim. And as long as he sought Yahuwah, Elohim made him to prosper.
Go ahead.
And he went forth and warred against the Philistines, and break down the walls of Gath.
So as long as he's doing what the Most High said, he's doing what? He's prospering. Read.
And the walls of Jabneh, and the walls of Ashdod, and built cities about Ashdod, and among the Philistines.
Go ahead.
And Elohim helped him against the Philistines, and against the Arabians.
Against who?
The Arabians.
Wow.
Esau.
Helped him against the Arabs. Go ahead.
They dwelt in Gurbaal, and the Mehunims, and the Amorites gave gifts to Uzziah, and his name spread abroad.
What happened?
His name spread abroad.
Wait a minute. His name spread means what? His fame. His fame spread abroad. Everybody know who Uzziah is. Read.
Even to the entering in of Egypt. For he strengthened himself exceedingly.
He strengthened himself exceedingly. Starting to switch up. Go ahead.
Moreover, Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem, at the corner gate, and at the valley gate, and at the turning of the wall, and fortified them. And he built towers in the desert, and digged many wells, for he had much cattle, both in the low country and in the plains. Husbandmen also, and vine dressers in the mountains, and in Carmel, for he loved husbandry.
So this guy is great. He building up stuff. He was the king since he was 16 years old. Jump down to verse 14. Let's get to the crux of it.
Verse 14. And Uzziah prepared for them throughout all the host shields and spears and helmets and habergeons and bows and slings to cast stones.
So this guy is great. He building all type of stuff. Read.
And he made in Jerusalem engines invented by cunning men to be on the towers and upon the bulwarks, to shoot arrows and great stones withal. And his name spread far abroad.
Here you go again. His fame spread far abroad. Read.
For he was marvelously helped till he was strong.
Till he was strong. Read.
But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction.
Wait a minute. But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction. So since he been the king since he was 16, he building all this stuff just like Nebuchadnezzar was doing. Looking back at it, heart got lifted up. Read.
But when he was strong, his heart was lifted up to his destruction. For he transgressed against Yahuwah, his Elohim, and went into the temple of Yahuwah to burn incense.
To do what?
To burn incense.
Who is the only people allowed to go into the temple of the Most High and burn incense?
Levites.
The priest, the Levites. But he's the king, right? Who are you to tell me? I'm the anointed one. I can go in there and do this. Read.
Upon the altar of incense, and Azariah the priest went in after him, and with him 80 priests of Yah that were valiant men.
Go ahead.
And they withstood Uzziah.
They did what?
They withstood Uzziah.
So they blocking dude like, yo, I know you the king, but you can't do what you trying to do. Go ahead.
And they withstood Uzziah the king and said unto him, It pertained not unto you, Uzziah, to burn incense unto Yah, but to the priests, the sons of Aharon, that are consecrated to burn incense. Go out of the sanctuary.
Get out of the sanctuary, man. You know you weren't supposed to be in here. Read.
For you have trespassed. Neither shall it be for your honor from Yah, Elohim.
He warned them, it's not going to turn out good for you, bro. Get out of here. I know you the king. I know you was anointed. I know you been the man since you was 16 years old. But you can't do what you're trying to do. So the priest then stood up and put a wall up against dude, and they not letting him do what he's trying to do. But he's so arrogant. He's so proud of being the king. Let's see what he do. Read.
Then Uzziah was wroth, and had a censer in his hand to burn incense. And while he was wroth with the priest, the leprosy even rose up in his forehead before the priest in the house of Yah, from beside the incense altar.
So just that quick, leprosy pops up on dude. When you're a leper, you're unclean. You can't be in there. Wow, brought down in an instant. Read.
And Azariah, the chief priest, and all the priests looked upon him, and behold, he was leprous in the forehead. And they thrust him out of thence. Yeah, himself hastened also to go out, because Yah had smitten him.
He did what to him?
Yah had smitten him.
So the priest, these boys wasn't playing. They threw him out. Like the first prince on Jazz getting threw out. Get up out of here, boy. You ain't supposed to be in here. I know you anointed, but you ain't supposed to be in here. Go ahead.
And Uzziah the king was a leper unto the day of his death, and dwelt in a several house, being a leper, for he was cut off from the house of Yah. And Jotham his son was over the king's house, judging the people of the land. Now the rest of the acts of Uzziah, first and last, did Yeshaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, write.
So right here we see this guy got so arrogant, even though the Most High was with him in the beginning, he thought that he can do the job of the Levites. When we know that only the Levites can go in there, he would have been one that would go and try to pick up the Ark of the Covenant and die instantly. Now we're going to go to pride of beauty. The pride of beauty. And we know it's going to be a lot of beautiful people in the fire. Because the more beautiful, especially when it's a woman, the people ain't going to tell him that they wrong. Because he feel like he going to mess up his chances with her. Pride of beauty. That's why church is what? A fashion show. Right? Because it's the pride of beauty. That's why, just like I talked about the selfies, all day long. Let's see. So we're going to read this from the surface. Pride and beauty. Ezekiel 28, verse 12. I know this got a deeper meaning, but we're going to read it from the surface. Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 12.
Ezekiel chapter 28 and verse 12. Son of man, take up lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, you seal up the sum, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty.
Full of wisdom? That's one of them. And perfect in beauty. So the guy is full of wisdom and he's perfect in beauty. Let's jump down to verse 17.
Your heart was lifted up because of your beauty.
So because of his beauty, his heart is lifted up. Read.
Because you have corrupted your wisdom by reason of your brightness, I will cast you to the ground. I will lay you before kings, that they may behold you.
So right here, beauty has caused this person to do these things. 2 Samuel 14 and 25. Second Samuel 14 and verse 25. This is one of David's sons.
2 Samuel chapter 14 and verse 25. But in all Yisrael.
But in what?
But in all Yisrael.
Some of Israel.
All Yisrael.
Go ahead.
There was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty. From the sole of his foot even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him.
So Absalom, they talking about from the sole of his feet to the top of his head. This dude was that dude, even probably over Solomon. And they said there was no blemish in this cat. That's beautiful right there. Read that again, Art.
But in all Israel, there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty. From the sole of his foot, even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him.
So Absalom was, as they would say, dude was drop dead gorgeous, as some of the women would say.
Yep. Pretty Ricky, what they call him.
And he had the super long hair.
Right.
2 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 12.
2 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 12. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel.
Ahithophel. Ahithophel.
Ahithophel, the Gilonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, when he offered sacrifices, and the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom.
So this is David's own son, the beautiful one, right? Read.
And Absalom, wait. And there came a messenger to David, saying, the hearts of the men of Yisrael are after Absalom.
So all of David's people now following Absalom. They ain't with David no more. Boom with the Most High got to be working with him. See, dude, I get chicks just off of him.
I get them just by being with him.
Read.
And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, arise, let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword.
Jump down to verse 31.
31. Verse 31. And one told David, saying, Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, O Yah, I pray you, turn the counsel of Ahithophel into foolishness. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount, where he worshipped Elohim, behold, Hushai the Archite came to him with his coat rent and earth upon his head.
So he's in mourning and weeping because he knows what's going down. Let's jump to 2 Samuel 18 and 9. But remember, this guy is beautiful. Chapter 18 and verse 9.
2 Samuel chapter 18 and verse 9. And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule.
He did what?
He rode upon a mule.
He rode upon a mule. Read.
And the mule went over the thick boughs of a great oak, and his head caught hold of the oak.
Wait a minute, what happened?
His head caught hold of the oak.
So remember, this dude had really, really long hair. So his hair got caught up in the trees. What happened?
And he was taken up between the Shamayim and the earth.
Taken up between the heavens and the earth. Read.
And a certain man saw it, and told Joab, and said, behold, I saw Absalom hanged in an oak.
Hanged in what?
Hanged in an oak.
Now go back to verse 9 and read it again.
And Absalom met the servants of David, and Absalom rode upon a mule, and the mule went under the thick boughs of a great oak, and his boughs and his head caught hold of the oak, and was taken up between Shamayim and the earth, and the mule that was under him went away.
And the mule that was under him went away. Cursed is the man who's hanged from a tree. This dude was so lifted up because of his beauty, he trying to kill his own daddy. And just like that, got his head caught up in the trees and hanged. That's why I go right back to the law. Cursed is the man that is hanged from a tree. Let's continue. Luke chapter 18. Spiritual pride.
Lucas chapter 18.
Pick it up at verse 10.
In verse 10. 2 men went up into the temple to pray.
So we got 2 men going into the temple to pray. Read.
The one a Pharisee.
One is a Pharisee and the other
a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed this with himself.
He did what?
The Pharisee stood and prayed this with himself.
With himself. Read.
Elohim, I thank you that I am not as other men are.
I ain't like the rest of these cats. Go ahead.
Extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican.
And he talking about the guy that's right next to him.
Like he there by himself.
I ain't like the rest of these cats, especially not this dude right here.
Right.
Read.
I fast twice in a week.
I do what?
I fast twice in a week.
Wait a minute, you don't supposed to tell people when you fast. Read.
I get tithes of all that I possess.
I do all of this stuff. He doing it to be seen. Read.
And the publican standing afar off would not lift up so much as his eyes unto Shamayim,
Go ahead.
but smote upon his breast, saying, Elohim, be merciful to me, a sinner.
So this guy just admitted that he's a sinner, but he says, be merciful unto me. But the other guy bragging on all the stuff that he do. I pay tithes of everything I got. I'm not like these people. You know what I'm saying? I fast twice a week, bragging on himself. Read.
I tell you, this man went down to the house, justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalts himself,
That do what?
that exalts himself,
Everyone that exalts himself, read,
shall be abased.
shall be abased. Same thing Nebuchadnezzar said, that he can make the greatest of man be abased. So this guy bragging on how much he tithed and he doing stuff. I even watched it in here. Right? The hat come around and certain people don't have as much as somebody else, and they might ball their money up to put it in there.
Throw it in there real fast.
Throw it in there real fast because you think like it's about how much you put in. If you don't got it, you don't got it. There's no, you know what I'm saying? I see it even in here. Like, wow. Just put it in there, bro. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? So it'll be like somebody got $100 and I'm gonna put that in there. But I want you to see it. Hey, you got change for this $100? Just give me 20 back. Just give me 20 back. See? Right. It's funny because it's the truth. And that's what he's talking about in this instance right here. Let's go back to that Jeremiah right quick. 9:23. No, we done with that.
Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 23. Thus saith Yah, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches.
So dude shouldn't have been glorying in the things that he thought was something. He told you that lady gave 2 mites, and she gave more than everybody because it was all that she had. Finish that out.
Well, verse 24.
Yeah.
But let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understand and know me, that I am Yah, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith Yahuwah.
So these are the things that he delight in. Now, as we were saying earlier, this sin has been put at me, myself, many, many times to say that I'm proudful and arrogant and all these things. And again, it's come down to perception. So we're going to show you through scripture that they said the same thing about our patriarchs, the great ones, the ones that we should be actually trying to follow. Let's get 1 Samuel 2 and 3.
First Samuel chapter 2 and verse 3. Talk no more so exceeding proudly, Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth.
Let what?
Let not arrogancy come out of your mouth. For Yah is Elohim of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed.
By him actions are weighed. Somebody need to read that for Floyd. Let's get Genesis 37. Genesis 37. We're going to pick it up at verse 3. It ain't mine. Genesis chapter 37. Let's pick it up at verse 3. So we're going to talk about perception. Read.
Bereshit chapter 37 and verse 3. Now Yisrael loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age.
Go ahead.
And he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him.
They did what?
They hated him.
They hated him. Read.
And could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told of his brethren, and they hated him yet the more.
So they hated him even more. Who is this dream from?
Most High.
The Most High gave Joseph this dream, right? Read.
For behold, we were, verse 6. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about, and made obeisance to my sheaf.
Oh. Your sheaves bowed to me. I'm just telling you my dream. That's all. He's telling me the dream. Read.
And his brethren said unto him, Shall you indeed reign over us? Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams.
For his dream. The dream came from the Most High. Read.
And for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
Read.
And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him.
Wow. So Jacob rebuked him. All he doing is telling his dream.
This is his favorite son.
Exactly. This is his favorite son. You made him a coat of many colors. Read.
What is this dream you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to you, to the earth? And his brethren envied him, but his father observed the same.
So to his brothers, what do they perceive Joseph to be?
Arrogant, prideful.
Arrogant and prideful. But this came from the Most High. But in their eyes, I can't stand this little... He thinks somebody gonna bow down. Let's see how they talked about him. Jump down to verse 19.
Verse 19. And they said one to another, Behold, this dreamer come.
Big hole, here come this neighbor talking about his dream. Nobody don't want to hear that stuff. But this is perception. To them, he is completely arrogant, completely proud, and he only told him his dream that the Most High gave him. Now, if it said that he said it like this, man, I had a dream, bro. You gonna bow down to me.
Then you too.
Yeah, exact, Pops. You too. That would be different.
Right.
But it don't say he said it like that. Let's see another example, because it's all perception. Let's get 1 Samuel chapter 16. Exactly. 1 Samuel 16. Let's see it again. So it's a difference between proud or pride and confidence. Big difference. 1 Samuel 16, we're going to pick it up at verse 6.
1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 6. And it came to pass, when they were come, that he looked on Eliab and said, surely Yahuwah's anointed is before him.
So he looked on Eliab. Read.
But Yahuwah said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance, or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him.
I did what?
I have refused him.
I have refused him. So this right here is beautiful in countenance, tall, dark and handsome, as they would say. So Samuel is looking at him in that way. Read.
For Yahuwah see not as man see. For man look on the outward appearance.
So man do what?
Man look on the outward appearance.
Man look on the outward appearance. We're going to see that go back to that beauty again. Read.
Man look on the outward appearance, but Yahuwah look on the heart. Then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither have Yah chosen this.
Neither have Yah chosen him. Go ahead.
Then Jesse made Shammah or Shammah to pass by. And he said, neither have Yahuwah chosen this.
So Samuel instead of going get him by how he think that they should be. Well, he didn't pick him. He didn't pick him. I know. He gonna pick dude. Yeah. Let's read.
Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before Samuel. And Samuel said unto Jesse, Yahuwah have not chosen these.
He have not chosen them. Go ahead.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all your children? And he said, there remain yet the youngest.
The who?
The youngest.
The youngest. Wow. Joseph was the youngest. David is the youngest. Jacob was the youngest. It's a pattern with that. Read on.
And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come here.
Go ahead.
And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look, and goodly to look to. And Yahuwah said, arise, anoint him, for this is he.
For this is he. So he done went through all the other brothers, and finally he's the last one through the process of elimination. It's David. Read on.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren.
Did what?
Anointed him in the midst of his brethren.
So imagine how his brothers is feeling. Right. They just all got passed over, and David is getting picked and anointed in the middle of them. Read.
Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren. And the Ruach of Yahuwah came upon David from that day forward.
From that day forward. Now we're going to see the difference between confident and proudness, or pride or arrogance. Let's go to 1 Samuel 17 and pick it up at verse 26.
1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 26. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killed the Philistine, and take away the reproach from Yisrael? For who is the uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living power?
So David, this little bitty dude, is talking big jump right here.
Right.
Who is this uncircumcised dude? I'm ready for him. Let's see how his brothers take it though. Read.
And the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to the man that killed him. And Eliab, his eldest brother,
his oldest brother, the one that got passed over first, read,
heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David.
Wait a minute, why is he mad?
Right.
His anger is kindled against David. Wow, why is he mad? Read.
And he said, what you come down here for? And with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? I know your pride.
I know what?
I know your pride.
I know your pride. It's all perception. David ain't prideful. He confident because of the Most High. But dude don't agree with it. He don't like it. It comes off as pride to him. Read that again.
I know your pride and the naughtiness of your heart, for you are come down that you might see the battle.
Wait a minute. He said the naughtiness of your heart. Didn't the Most High say David had a heart after him? Wow. And it told us that the Ruach was on him from that day forward. Wow. But in his mind, little bitty David is arrogant. No, he's confident. Read on.
And David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? And he turned from him towards another and spake after the same manner. And the people answered him again after the former manner. And when the words were heard which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with this Philistine. And Saul said to David, you are not able to go against the Philistine to fight with him.
You can't fight with him, man. Read.
For you are but a boy, and have a man of war from his youth. And David said unto Saul,
Goliath been boxing since he was a boy. You think you gonna get in there with him? Go ahead.
And David said unto Saul, your servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard, and smote him, and slew him.
So David is talking about, I killed a lion and a bear. So you a man. I killed a lion and a bear, two of the most fierce, ferocious animals that it is. I killed them. But not by my might, from the Most High. He confident. Read.
The servant slew both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine should be as one of them.
And this dude gonna be just like one of them. That's not arrogant, that's confident. I know I'm gonna beat him. I know I'm gonna take him out. Read.
Seeing he hath defiled the armies of the living power.
Read.
David said, moreover, Yahuwah that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear.
Going right back and get a credit to the Most High. The Most High delivered me out of this. He did this. Not like all the other kings who said, by my might, I built this. Look at this. But his brother think he arrogant. Read.
He will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and Yahuwah be with you.
Go ahead.
And Saul armed David with his armor, and he put on a helmet of brass upon his head. Also he armed him with a coat of mail. And David girded his sword upon his armor, and he essayed to go, for he had not proved it. And David said unto Saul, I cannot go with these.
I can't take this stuff, man. It's too bulky, it's too heavy. Again, you can go and fight him without your shield and all this stuff?
That boy arrogant.
He arrogant, man. He about to go up against Goliath, a dude who been fighting his whole life. And he ain't gonna take the armor with him. Go ahead.
For I have not proven them. And David put them off him. And he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook.
5 rough stones.
5 smooth stones out of the brook.
Laid back stones. No, go ahead.
And put them in the shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip. And his sling was in his hand. And he drew near to the Philistine.
He walking to them. He taking the fight to them.
Right.
Read.
And the Philistine came and drew near unto David. And the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained for him.
He just what?
He disdained for him.
He looking at him like, you little arrogant what? You coming out here to fight me? Go back and play, boy. Read.
For he was but a youth, and ruddy, and of a fair countenance. His pretty boy about to come try to scrap with me. And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that you come to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods.
He's so mad he cursed David by his gods. All because David ain't afraid of him. And he think David arrogant. Read.
And the Philistine said to David, come to me, and I will give your flesh unto the fowls of the air, and to the beasts of the field. Then said David to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword.
You come to me with a sword? You got an AK? Read.
And with a spear, and with a shield? But I come to you in the name of Yahuwah.
Read it again.
Then David said to the Philistine, you come to me with a sword?
You got a sword?
With a spear? And with a shield? But I come to you in the name of Yahuwah of hosts.
I do what?
I come to you in the name of Yahuwah of hosts.
This is why he confident. I'm coming to you in the name of the Most High. You got swords and staffs and you think you can stand before me? This ain't arrogance. This is confidence. It's a difference. Read.
The Elohim of the armies of Yisrael, whom you have defiled. This day will Yahuwah deliver you into my hand, and I will smite you and take your head from you.
Do what?
I will smite you and take your head from you.
Telling him straight out, I'm going to smite you and I'm going to take your head from you. And he mean what he's saying. He mean it. But David arrogant. How can you take on this giant when you just a youth? You ruddy, a fair countenance. You can't go against him. Read.
And I will give your carcass of the host of the Philistines this day unto the fowls of the air, and to the wild beasts of the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a power in Israel.
There is a power in Israel. Jump down to verse 48.
Verse 48. And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came and drew near to meet David, that David hasted and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine.
You see that? He completely confident in everything because he got the Most High with him. He running to him. He taking the fight to the giant. He taking the fight straight to the giant. Everybody else is afraid of him, and they would say, let me get him. Put me in, coach. Put me in there, coach.
Straight up.
All perception. But his brother on the other side, I know you. What you come out here for? You little prideful runt. What you coming out here for? Because he know the Most High with him. Matthew 21. Matthew 21 and 21.
But Yahoo chapter 21 and verse 21.
That boy was little, scrawny Steph Curry taking it to LeBron.
Or Shaq.
Matthew 21 and 21.
Yahushua answered and said unto them, truly I say unto you, if you have faith and doubt not, you shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also, if you shall say unto this mountain, be you removed, and you cast into the sea, it shall be done.
So we're going to see that they think the same thing
Straight up.
about a Mashiach. Read.
In all things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive.
Go ahead.
And when he was come into the temple, the chief priests and the elders, the chief priests And the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching, and said, By what authority do you these things?
Who gave you the authority to come out here and say this stuff? The high priest, he didn't tell you to say this stuff. You shouldn't be saying this stuff. They don't like it because he ain't under their umbrella. Wow. Just like we ain't under that umbrella that all these other people is under. So they don't like it.
Absolutely.
This is why you come up with all of these sayings. The cats is arrogant. No, we just ain't under your umbrella. We don't follow what y'all put down. We?
Who gave you this authority? Yahushua answered and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing.
I'm going to trip you right up. Go ahead.
Which if you tell me, I and likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things.
So he know that they can't answer him. This is what we call lawyering them. Ask you something, no, you can't answer it. Let's get Mark chapter 1. Mark chapter 1 and verse 22.
Mark chapter 1 and verse 22. And they were astonished at his doctrine.
It was what?
They were astonished at his doctrine.
This is some new doctrine, man. That's not how everybody else teach.
Right.
Wait a minute. So, out of all these people, you come along and say, it's this, and everybody else say this. They astonished at his doctrine. Wow.
Speak on it.
Who gave this guy the authority to say these things that's not contrary, that not like everybody else is saying? Perception. Read.
And they were astonished at his doctrine, for he taught them as one that had authority, and not as the scribes.
Wow, so he ain't following what the scribes do. What did the scribes walk around wearing?
Those long fringes. Long garments.
We're going to get into that in a second. Read on.
And there was in their synagogues a man with an unclean ruach, and he cried out, saying, Let us alone. What have we to do with you, Yahushua of Nazareth? Are you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Kodesh one of Elohim.
Wow, so he recognized and knows. Read.
And Yahushua rebuked him, saying, Hold your peace and come out of him. And when the unclean ruach had torn him and cried with a loud voice, he came out of him. And they were all amazed.
They were what?
They were all amazed.
They were all amazed watching this. Read.
And so much that they questioned among themselves, saying, What thing is this?
What is this dude doing? Who gave him the authority? Read.
What new doctrine is this?
What?
What new doctrine is this?
What new doctrine is this guy bringing forth?
Not bringing forth no new doctrine.
Wow. We just gonna continue to preach the same garbage from the 70s that some old dude came up with from a dream. Not. Take it how you want to. Read.
What new doctrine is this?
What new doctrine is this? Read.
For with authority command he even the unclean ruachs, as they do obey him.
Go ahead.
And immediately his fame spread abroad.
And immediately his fame spread abroad. Remember, they said, we can't keep letting this stuff get out, because he gonna come and take away our position. We can't have it. We can't have it. Wow. Let's get John chapter 8. We almost done. John chapter 8.
Yehukanan chapter 8.
We're going to pick it up at verse 54.
verse 54. Yehukanan chapter 8 and verse 54. Yahusha answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing.
It's nothing. Why he told you, boast not yourselves. Let other people brag on you. Don't say that you the only camp with the truth. Don't make statements like this, but nobody don't say nothing against that. They ride with that.
Right.
If you ain't a part of this, then you're not in the truth. But nobody don't say nothing when these people make statements like this. Somebody ain't playing fair. Read.
Yahusha answered, if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honor me, of whom you say that he is your Elohim.
Go ahead.
Yet you have not known him, but I know him. And if I should say I know him not, I shall be a liar like unto you.
Telling them to their face, I shall be a liar like unto you. Read.
But I know him and keep his sayings. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad.
What did they say to this?
Then said the Yehudim unto him, you are not yet 50 years old.
You ain't even 50 years old. How in the world you talking about Abraham saw you? Dude, out of his mind, bro. You see the arrogance of this guy? Talking about Abraham saw him, and he ain't even 50. Read.
And you have seen Abraham? Yahusha answered said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am.
Before Abraham was, I was. Read on.
Then they took up stones to cast at him.
What, they did what?
They took up stones to cast at him.
Wow, they took up stones to cast at him. Because they think he what? They think he arrogant and prideful. This the Messiah that they trying to kill. Let's get Proverbs 15 and 33.
Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 33. The fear of Yah is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility.
Is humility. Gotta have this. But again, so we're going to see something. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 15. Because it says, Yah resisteth the proud. Deuteronomy chapter 15 and 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 15 and verse 15. And you shall remember that you was a bondman in the land of Egypt.
So all of these kings, they forgot where they came from. All of them. You was anointed at a young age or whatever it be, and you forgot where you came from. That's the same thing with all of these ball players, all these dope dealers, Floyd and all the rest of them. They forgot where they came from. Read that from the top again.
And you shall remember that you was a bondman in the land of Egypt, and Yahuwah your Elohim redeemed you. Therefore I command you this thing today.
Today. Let's get Deuteronomy 8 and verse 3. So it's a reason why he had him in the wilderness for 40 years. Deuteronomy 8 and 3.
Deuteronomy chapter 8 and verse 3 was
Yep.
and he humbled you.
He did what?
And he humbled you and suffered you to hunger and fed you with manna, which you knew not, neither did your fathers know, that he might make you to know that man do not live by bread only, but by every word that proceed out of the mouth of Yahuwah do man live.
So he kept him in the wilderness for this 40 years to humble you, To humble you down. James chapter 4, verse 6.
James chapter 4 and verse 6. But he give more grace. Wherefore he said, Elohim resist the proud, but give grace unto the humble.
But give grace unto the humble. 1 Peter 5 and 6. Almost done. First Peter chapter 5 and verse 6. Matter of fact, pick it up at verse 5. 1 Peter 5 and 5.
Likewise, 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 5. Likewise, you younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility.
Clothed with humility. Read.
For Elohim resist the proud, and give grace to the humble.
Read on.
Humble yourselves.
Do what?
Humble yourselves.
It's better to humble yourself than the Most High do it for you. Read.
Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Elohim, that he may exalt you in due time.
In due time. So if you humble yourselves, you will be exalted in due time. You don't have to take on fancy titles on your own. Proverbs 27 and 6. Proverbs 27 and 6.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kiss of an enemy are deceitful.
So you might need somebody that's close to you to tell you the truth. It hurts, but it's the truth. Read that again.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kiss of an enemy are deceitful.
Luke chapter 20, verse 46. Luke chapter 20 and 46.
Lucas chapter 20 and verse 46. Beware of the scribes.
Beware of who?
Beware of the scribes.
When they tell you to beware of a dog, what does that make you feel? Stay away. That dog bite. Says beware. But he told us to beware of who?
Of the scribes.
Go ahead.
Which desire to walk in long robes.
Wait a minute. And what?
In long robes.
That desire to walk in long robes. It's a bunch of these people right today. But nobody don't take heed to it. He said to beware of them. Read.
And love greetings in the markets, and the highest seat.
The what?
The highest seat.
The highest seats. Read.
In the synagogues, and the chief rooms.
And the what?
And the chief room.
Go ahead.
At feast, which devour widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers.
To do what?
For a show make long
For a
prayers.
show they make long prayers. Go ahead.
The same shall receive greater damnation.
Same shall receive greater damnation. But he told you that they walk in long robes. Let's get Acts chapter 12. Acts chapter 12. Chapter 12 and verse 1.
Acts of the Apostles, chapter 12 and verse 1. Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the congregation.
So Herod, it says he stretched forth his hand to do what?
To vex certain of the congregation.
So he's the king. He just get him, point him out. Arrogance. Read.
And he killed James, the brother of John, with a sword. And because he saw it pleased the Yahudim, he proceeded further to take Peter also.
So the Yahudim was pleased to see some of the righteous brothers get killed. Read.
He proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him into the 4 quaternions.
Wow, so Peter got a record. Wow, so
Got a rap sheet.
Peter had tried to come and get a job and they wouldn't want to hire him. Oh no, you've been to jail, bro. Wow, Hamashiach was in jail. Let me see. Jeremiah was in jail. Paul was in jail. Wow, it's a lot of the righteous men in jail. Wow. Read on.
Intending after Easter, after Passover.
Right, clear that up. Read.
Intending after Passover to bring him forth to the people. Kepha therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the congregation unto Elohim for him.
So the people is praying for Peter without ceasing. And we know it says pray without ceasing. And the righteous prayer availeth much. So let's jump down to verse 20. Because we're talking about Herod this king. Read.
And Herod was highly displeased with them of Tyre and Zidon. But they came with one accord to him. And having made Blastus, the king's chamberlain, their friend, desired peace, because their country was nourished by the king's country. And upon a set day, Herod, arrayed in royal apparel.
He was dressed in what?
Royal apparel.
So Herod is arrayed in his royal apparel. He looking the coldest right now. Read.
Sat upon his throne and made an oration unto them.
He made a great speech unto the people. Read.
And the people gave a shout saying.
They did what?
Gave a shout saying.
What they say? Read.
It is the voice of Elohim and not of a man.
So they gave this guy so much props. They said it's the voice of a God and not a man. Let's see what happened. Just like with Nebuchadnezzar, immediately, read.
And immediately the Malachim of the Most High smote him, because he gave not Elohim the glory. And he was eaten of the worms and gave up the spirit.
So this man is sitting here in royal apparel, and all of a sudden, worms is inside of him. So he looks beautiful on the outside, but in the inside, he what? He rotten. What does this take us back to? Matthew chapter 23. Matthew 23 and verse 27.
Matthew 23 and 27. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you are like unto whited sepulchres.
You like the most beautiful coffin on the outside, just like Herod the king, dressed in his most beautiful apparel, but he worms on the inside being eaten. Read.
Which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanliness. Even so, you also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within you are full of hypocrisy and iniquity. Woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteous, and say, if we had been in the days of our father, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets.
So they just admitted that they the children of the people that killed the prophets. But as you can see, he's saying Woe to them, scribes and the Pharisees with the long garments and the long robes, love titles. So we see how pride causes people to fall. So if we got any of these things on us, we need to what?
Get them off.
Get rid of it. And also we see the difference between pride and confidence. So with that, let's say shalom.
Shalom.
Any questions, comments? Hold on. I forgot. There's one thing I want y'all to see. But matter of fact, you can go ahead and turn that off though. Shalom.